Hi, this is Slimedog.
And Topo.
And today we're playing Darkwing Duck by way of the PS4 Disney Afternoon Collection. Originally it was released on the NES in 92?
This one was, yeah.
In 1992. But it's by Capcom, and it's kind of that golden age of Capcom platformers, along with Mega Man, and all the early Disney titles, the DuckTales and Rescue Rangers and that sort of thing.
Which are also on this disc.
They are, actually. This is a great collection if you get a chance, by the way. It's an amazing value. And a great way to play some of the more valuable titles in there, like DuckTales 2 and Rescue Rangers 2, which are really a fortune if you want to try to track down the NES cards. But it's a really fun little platformer. It feels very kind of Mega Man-esque. And it's got that really cool kind of that 8-bit music that Capcom was known for back in the era. So, but this one's it's based on the cartoon Darkwing Duck, which was a little bit after my time. I think I caught DuckTales and I caught Rescue Rangers, but I never really caught this one a whole lot. Did you see a lot of this one on TV?
No, I don't think I really. This was after I was.
I gotcha. Well, let's see. You can pick a stage. There's a choice of like 3 different stages. You beat those, and then there's 3 more. So it does have a little bit of stage selecting, but unlike Mega Man, it's not like you get boss parts at the end of it or anything like that. So.
Haha!
He's Darkwing Duck. You know, it took me way too long to figure out that heart in the top corner is not something you can jump and try to catch. That's just your life. But,
You have 1 heart.
You have 1 heart.
Awesome.
The big mechanic on this one is grabbing. You grab onto the bottom of stuff, and that's how you kind of get around. You can shoot, like your gas gun, if you remember the comic, I think.
There's one down
comic.
there.
I'll look at it.
Whatever that is.
It's a diamond.
Nice.
Whoa.
Ooh,
And I got
it
that.
dropped right on you.
He did. Let's see if I can get through. Whoop, I gotta jump on the hook.
There we go.
And the diamond. And see, if I jump on the switch and grab it, it drops down a...
so that you have a thing to grab.
Yeah.
Jump up on.
See if you can hop along the hooks like this. And there's a lot of parts like this. If you can stay on top, you can
Avoid that.
avoid this stuff and get better pickups and such. Like ordinarily here, like I can't jump up that. How do I do it? You jump to the bottom. So it took me a while to kind of wrap my head around that, because that's kind of the new part about, not new, but you know, that's the mechanic of this game, is this kind of underhang thing. But once you get into it, it actually feels really kind of intuitive.
Natural.
Yeah, entirely. There's also a you can do a shield thing to kind of block certain projectiles. Most of the challenge of this comes from the hooks here. This Disney Afternoon Collection, all of the games that you play on it also have a rewind feature. If I screw up a jump, I might use that. Can I? Oh.
Nice.
You can switch to different gas types, and I picked up the spark gas. And that shoots a diagonal, so if I wanted to shoot, like, hit that, then I could use that to hit guys at angles. And if you pick up the G, it'll let you do more shots with the special gas.
I take it you can't get down below unless you nab a really good
Down there?
swing.
Yeah, you can make it down there, but, you know,
It's not
all there
worth
is
it.
really more kind of points, and in this one we're not really playing for points a whole lot. Unlike, actually, like some of the DuckTales games where you get a better ending depending on how much money you had, I don't think the ending on this one is dependent on your score.
Ooh, thank goodness that's there, because...
I know, right? No way you'd make it through that. But if this feels like Mega Man to you, then yeah, it should.
Oh, see, he's using a shield cape. Like you have.
How many shots does it get? There we go. Apparently 3. Did I pick one of you else? Let's see. Yes, I did. Now it's... I wonder if I can block these shots. Haha!
That's funny.
Battle of the Capes.
Oh. This is a
Here, let me
good part
back
for the
up. Yep.
rewind.
And see, just because I missed that jump, and what I did there was I just did the rewind. You saw that. And you can do that at any time. I think there's one trophy in the game, one achievement in the game that requires that you not use the rewind when you beat the game. But, you know, aside from that, there's really no downside of using the backups. And it's a great way if you don't want to replay the levels a lot, if you just want to see the game.
Banana peels. Stop.
Okay. Let's see. I gotta get... Oops. Hey.
What are you trying to find here?
Shooting him.
This guy?
Yeah, see, he jumps to a different level, but it's kind of tricky to do the duck down. Whoop.
So that.
Yeah, you've got to duck and jump to go down, and then to press down again to...
Just do a shot.
Yeah.
Ah, and avoid this stupid
Avoid the...
banana peels. Nice. Oh, dang it. I thought you had it.
No, he takes a bunch of shots. He's a boss.
Sure.
It's easier to get him coming up than dropping down.
Ah!
No, that was a bad idea.
Ah! Every time he drops down, I'm like, yeah!
Getting better at it, I guess. There's actually a boss rush mode you can do in this too after you beat it, but Darkwing Duck actually has some of the tougher bosses compared to some of the earlier ones. It's interesting how when I played these again, I remember Rescue Rangers being a lot harder. That one was not very hard. DuckTales still kind of held up if you're not using the rewind feature. And Tailspin, which is one I never played back in the day, is probably the toughest of all of them. But, hey, how many more shots does this guy have?
Too many, if you ask me. Ah,
That's tough.
goodness gracious.
Jeez. Got him.
Oh, fine, I'll eat. Down a quarter heart, but was that it?
That's it.
Oh wow, that's really fun.
Yeah, the levels are pretty short. There's only one or two kind of stages. You get a little cutscene, there's a little story thing, and it kind of moves you along.
How many levels are in it, Bill?
I think there were about 8 total. There were kind of 6 here, and then it was either 7 or 8. And the last boss, if I recall, was pretty slick too. So it's a pretty fun game overall, especially even without the
Rewind feature?
yeah, even without the rewind. It's not especially long either. You could probably play through the whole thing in one sitting. But you don't have to because check this out. One of the other features of this collection is pause it whenever, save your game wherever. So it's got save states. You can just save it like in the middle of a level.
In case you're wondering about the art style, yes, it is indeed. Well, it's the screen, the pause screen.
Oh yeah,
it's very definitely 80s, 90s.
Yeah,
late 80s, early 90s.
I really dig the art style here. They kind of nailed it.
Oh my goodness.
On the left.
Oh my goodness. Is this the next level then?
Yeah. Let's see, you jump on this. Wait. You have to run to stay on top of the...
Oh my gosh, stop! Oh my goodness. Okay, oof.
Yeah. Life force.
There's a big fancy thing back on it. Man, those... I guess they just stun you, those...
Yeah, they don't actually do
They
damage.
don't hurt you, that's nice.
Nice. I'm sorry, what were you saying?
Oh, back over the spiky area, there was some interesting looking pickups, but you have to do some shenanigans to get over to it.
Actually, I think there was the arrow gas, which you can use to actually shoot an arrow, and it sticks in the wall. It's one of the few kind of mobility moves in this game, and it does let you get certain special pickups. So, like, here's the lightning gas. This is the one that lets you shoot diagonal I had earlier. But that arrow gas, if you want to kind of 100% the game, or whatever, if you're worried about, like, getting all the secret areas, then you'll want to stick with the arrow gas through most of it, because that lets you stick an arrow to the wall, and then you can jump on the arrow.
Oh, that's handy.
So...
Every time you do that, I think you fall.
I know. Well, it is actually. You'd think you do because you're avoiding like.
Ah.
Oh. You're avoiding hits for most of it. Yeah.
Backing up more or no?
Let's see. Yeah.
You have to jump the shell, shoot them while it's naked.
Yep, you got it.
Or unprotected, as it. Ah! Oh, goodness.
See if I had the arrow gun, I could shoot an arrow there.
Oh my goodness. Oh my gracious.
See,
Your timing is...
it messes up the timing with the backup thing.
Oh my goodness. Should go stand on the other side because there's more space.
Yeah, but getting over him is tricky.
Oh, you can't jump over him?
Oh yeah, he just shoots me in the back.
Oh, you're...
Okay.
Oh, goodness gracious. Oh, there you go.
And now I just hang on to here.
Now, if you'd missed that, you could have jumped across this lamp.
I could.
I think.
Yes, you definitely could. But it's a lot easier just to jump on the balloon. Oh, this guy was a pain. You have to jump and hit him. Like, you have to jump a little bit and hit the thing on top of his head.
What's with the Darkwing Ducks on there?
Those are one-ups.
Oh. Yeah, I saw that. There you go. Oh. Nice dodge.
I wish I could get to the thing up there. I wonder. Hold on. Nice. Ooh, come on. Oh!
Oh, now you grabbed it. Dang it. Do it
Here,
again.
let me back that up.
Oh, there you go. Oh. Oh no. Are you kidding me?
I didn't get it this time.
You can back it up again, I guess.
No, I can't.
I can't?
Well, I mean, I'd have to keep shooting him and hope it drops again.
Backed up too far.
Yeah, I did.
That's unfortunate.
But I got this
There you
one,
go.
and it fills me up with bolts.
Oh,
So that's
thank
kind of why I
goodness.
went over here in the first place.
Understandable.
I can skip him entirely.
Oh.
Oh, and it's this guy. Yeah.
No. Ah. Oh.
And see, the deal is he turns into... See how the moon, the clouds of the moon?
Oh, I see.
Oh. And then when the clouds go over the moon, he turns into a regular guy and runs back and forth. Got him. And there you go.
Woo.
That is the first two levels of Darkwing Duck.
Yay!
Let's get
Job well done.
dangerous.
Dangerous.
Ta-da! It's got fun little cutscenes. It's actually, it really is a great example of sort of Capcom and their height in the NES days. So if you get a chance, check it out. It is a great platformer. It compares very well to other kind of NES platformers of the time.
It's a very fun game.
Yes,
I think it holds up well.
Yeah, it does. It's a lot of fun now. And it was fun because I never got to play this back in the day. It was neat to kind of revisit it and say, wow, this was pretty slick. I would have totally loved this if I had this as a kid.
But you had the others?
I had a couple of the others. I had DuckTales and Rescue Rangers were the two that I had.
Let's see if we might continue.
Yeah, maybe we'll do some more.
Some of the others. What else is on this disc?
Let's see. Let me back out here one sec.
L1. Oh, there we go. Save it.
Nah, already beat it once, yeah. But if you want to check out the rest of the collection here, and it goes in chronological order. But like DuckTales in '89, this is the first one. Everyone loves DuckTales. DuckTales is amazing. Rescue Rangers was the next one. Tailspin, didn't play this, only saw the show a little bit. This one's actually probably the toughest one in there. Good old Darkwing Duck, awesome. DuckTales 2, very similar to DuckTales, and stupid expensive. I think it's going for, I saw a cart loose for more than $100 a couple of days ago. So for collectors, this one's tough to come by. Same thing with Rescue Rangers 2. It's a late release, 94, all those late release NES games, like all the way up to 94. Yeah, and they're expensive, so yeah, if you're gonna check it out here rather than paying crazy high collector's prices.
Right.
But there you go. Thanks for joining us.
See you next time.